Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out that Apple no longer exists. No iPhones, no Apple stores, no Tim Cook. Sounds impossible, right? Well, about 20 years ago, that's exactly how people felt about Nokia. Nokia wasn't just a phone company. It was the phone company. At its peak, Nokia controlled nearly half of the global mobile phone market. Millions of people carried a Nokia in their pockets. The famous Nokia ringtone was heard everywhere, from New York to Los Angeles, from London to Tokyo. So how did the world's biggest phone maker lose everything? How did a company that dominated the mobile industry become almost irrelevant? This is the story of why Nokia failed. And it's a powerful lesson about innovation, leadership, and the danger of being too comfortable at the top. Let's begin. Back in the late 1990s and early 2000s, Nokia was unstoppable. The company produced reliable phones with incredible battery life. Their devices were tough, simple to use, and affordable. Remember the Nokia 3310? People joked that it was indestructible. You could drop it on concrete, and the ground would break before the phone did. Customers loved Nokia because their phones simply worked. By 2007, Nokia was the king of mobile phones. The company sold hundreds of millions of devices every year and generated billions in revenue. But while Nokia was celebrating its success, something important was happening in California. A company called Apple was preparing to change the future. In January 2007, Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and introduced the first iPhone. At first, many experts weren't impressed. The phone was expensive. It didn't even have a physical keyboard, and compared to Nokia phones, its battery life wasn't great. Even Nokia executives didn't see it as a serious threat. That turned out to be one of the biggest mistakes in business history. You see, Nokia thought they were competing in the phone business. Apple understood they were entering the smartphone business. There's a huge difference. Nokia focused on making better phones. Apple focused on creating a complete experience. The iPhone wasn't just a device. It was a pocket computer. It offered web browsing, apps, music, maps, and a touchscreen experience that felt revolutionary. Then came another major threat. Google launched Android. Unlike Apple, Google allowed many manufacturers to use Android for free. Companies like Samsung quickly adopted the operating system and began producing powerful smartphones. Suddenly, the market was changing faster than anyone expected, and Nokia wasn't ready. One of Nokia's biggest problems was software. While Apple improved iOS and Google expanded Android, Nokia continued using its aging operating system called Symbian. Symbian had been designed for older phones, not modern touchscreen smartphones. Developers found it difficult to build apps for, users found it less intuitive, and every year it looked more outdated. Inside Nokia, many employees knew there was a problem, but fixing it wasn't easy. The company had become huge and bureaucratic. Decision-making was slow. Different teams often disagreed with each other. Projects got delayed. Innovation became harder. When you're the market leader, it's easy to believe your success will continue forever. Nokia fell into that trap. Instead of moving quickly, the company spent too much time protecting what already worked. Meanwhile, competitors were creating the future. Then came another controversial decision. In 2011, Nokia partnered with Microsoft. Instead of using Android, Nokia chose Microsoft's Windows Phone operating system. The idea seemed logical. Microsoft was a giant technology company with enormous resources. Together, they hoped to challenge Apple and Android. But the plan failed.
Windows Phone never gained enough users. Because there weren't enough users, developers didn't create many apps. And because there weren't enough apps, customers didn't want the phones. It became a vicious cycle. Even though some Nokia smartphones had beautiful designs and impressive cameras, consumers kept choosing iPhones and Android devices. The app ecosystem mattered more than hardware. By the time Nokia realized this, it was already too late. Market share collapsed, sales dropped, profits disappeared, and in 2013, Nokia sold its mobile phone business to Microsoft. Think about that for a moment. The company that once dominated the global phone industry had to sell the very business that made it famous. It was one of the most dramatic falls in corporate history. So, why exactly did Nokia fail? The answer comes down to several key mistakes. First, Nokia underestimated the smartphone revolution. They saw the iPhone as just another phone instead of a completely new category of technology. Second, they focused too much on hardware and not enough on software. As smartphones evolved, software became the most important.
Part of the user experience. Third, the company moved too slowly. Large organizations often struggle to adapt quickly, and Nokia was no exception. Fourth, they made strategic decisions that didn't match market reality. Choosing Windows Phone instead of Android limited their chances of competing effectively. But perhaps the biggest lesson is this: success can be dangerous. When companies dominate an industry, they sometimes stop questioning themselves. They become confident that what worked yesterday will work tomorrow. But technology doesn't care about past success. Innovation never stops. The companies that survive are the ones willing to reinvent themselves before they are forced to. Today, Nokia still exists as a telecommunications and network technology company, but it is no longer the mobile giant that ruled the world. Its story remains one of the greatest business lessons ever told, a reminder that no company is too big to fail, no leader is too powerful to be challenged, and no success lasts forever unless you're willing to adapt. So the next time you see an old Nokia phone, remember this: it wasn't just a phone. It was the symbol of a company that reached the very top of the mountain and then lost its way. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more business stories, tech history, and lessons from the world's biggest companies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.